You're welcome back. We're being joined now, like we promised, by Professor Chris Nwokobia, the convener of Country First Movement and a public affairs analyst, and so many things rolled into one. We're glad to have you this morning, Prof. Good morning and welcome to the Rundown.
Good morning. The pleasure is mine.
Okay, let's go on. 2023, a lot of people have seen it as a very important year for us. The kind of elections that we are hoping to get in 2023 is like, the defining moment for Nigeria. Yet, a critical element of elections in so many other climes is missing in Nigeria because maybe some political parties or individuals vying for office have just decided not to be a part of it. And I'm talking about the presidential debate. So we're trying to, have a peek into your mind. Tell us what you think the place of presidential elections in a national presidential debates rather in a national election are, so that we begin from there.
Let me say very importantly that if you want to govern a people, if you want to superintend over a nation, you must, as it were, inform the people, market yourself, tell the people what you want to do. You must canvass your idea. You must, like a salesman, tell the nation and indeed the people what you want to do. In most developed and civilized climes, it has become a tradition. It's become the norm where the person who's seeking an elective office must talk to his potential hirers. Don't forget that if you want to govern me, you are obviously going to be my servant. But unfortunately, because our people have refused to deepen the fabrics of democracy, because our people have refused to interrogate those who pretend over our nation, leaders or would-be leaders take our people for granted. I'll give you a practical instance. In South Korea, for instance, a presidential debate is mandatory. You must debate. In the United States of America, for the two leading parties, the two major parties, the Republican and Democratic Party, you must debate each other. You must tell the people what you want to do. We are believing that as we progress, as we deepen our democracy, we shall insist that those who seek to govern us must debate themselves, must debate each other, and must tell us what exactly they want to do and how they want to do it. Our people must be given the right to hold them responsible based on what they say, not necessarily what they say on paper.
When you say given the right to hold them responsible, that was going to be my next question. How do you think this can be done? I mean, holding them responsible. Because, earlier in your analysis, you mentioned how that in the more developed climes, it has become a necessity. And you have people around here even having, coming out to say things very derogatory to the people, who are complaining that certain people didn't show up for the presidential debates. How do you think it is possible to hold these people accountable, or to, come to a point where it is no longer a question of whether you want to come or not, you must have to be there as a presidential candidate? How do you think this is possible?
One of those ways is what you're doing now. We're calling out the political operators. The civil society will have to do that. The Independent National Electoral Commission will have to do that. The presidency will have to insist that for you to govern a people, you will have to tell them expressly through the instrumentality of a presidential debate or a gubernatorial debate how you want to govern the people. So I believe that by and large, there will be in the next dispensation the amendment of the Electoral Act to ensure that the right and the insistence on a presidential debate, a gubernatorial debate and the likes is etched on a legal canvas, because whether we like it or not, and this is fundamentally important, we have to and must hear from those who seek to govern us. Because look at the point you just noted is very germane. Some have talked down on people who are insisting that we should have the presidential debate, the gubernatorial debate, and the like. Some have said we won't come. Some have said it doesn't bother us. But the people must raise the moral and ethical bar. The people must raise the intellectual bar, such that they would say through different fora, the media, the civil society, the studentry, and the likes, they will insist that anybody who seeks to govern them must appear at a minimum of 3, 4, or 5 debates. We need to know exactly what you want to do. Because if you look at what happened between 2014 and 2015 and now 2022, you find out that some people are saying that, oh, I was quoted out of context. Oh, I did not say I will do this. Oh, I did not say I will do this. We are not hiring spokespersons as presidents. We're not hiring spokespersons to govern us. So the spokespersons can accentuate, can accelerate what the principals have said. But we must and we need to hear directly from the contestants, from the candidates themselves.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that, or you proposed that there should be an amendment to the Electoral Act, because right now they're not breaking any law by not appearing for a debate. They're not breaking any law, and they can even argue that there is no law that they're breaking. There's no way that they're compelled to do what we're asking them to do. But your proposal that they amend the Electoral Act maybe could help. Or maybe they should put it in the main constitution that for you to qualify, there are stages you have to pass through, and then when it gets to the candidacy, you have to be part of a debate. But whatever they're going to say in the debate, that's another set of argument. Whatever they're going to say in a debate is the same thing they say when they go for their campaign rallies. So in your own perspective, what's the marked difference between what they say in their rallies and what they could say in the debate? Why is it so necessary?
Let me say very, very importantly, Yango, that a debate is different from a political rally. A debate is where you have to square up against other candidates, and people will be able to judge your capacity and competency. People will be able to judge how fast you can think on your feet and how prepared you are to govern. And people will be able to judge whether you're better than the person you're contesting against. That's chiefly the difference. But let me say here that those who seek to govern must understand that there is a moral duty before there is a legal responsibility. There's a moral duty to talk to the people, to engage your fellow contestants, to outperform, if you can, your fellow contestants in the debate. And this moral duty is very important, because it is not necessarily about the legalese of it. It's about how you treat and respect those you want to hire you. Yamgul, I'm sure that when you sought the job that you presently have, you perhaps went through an interview. Anybody who wants a good job goes through some kind of test, some kind of integrity test, some kind of IQ test. Unfortunately, some people want to superintend over a nation of about 200 million people without presenting themselves for an interview, and I disagree with it. I think that the moral fabrics of this nation that we seek to build and develop would and should make it imperative for those who seek to govern us to debate each other.
Okay, well, but they say exam is not the true test of knowledge. Do you think do you think a debate necessarily will produce the best candidate for us?
That phraseology, that aphorism is not always correct. That is why all over the world, across institutions of learning, you have to go through an examination for us to say, oh yeah, he's excellent, oh he's above average, oh he's average. So I don't think that aphorism is trite and correct. I think that people just use it to defend their their tendency for the average. But be that as it may, what is important for us is that when you debate, we're able to understand how your capacity to reason is, how you can think out of the box, how you can think under pressure. And it is very important for us as a nation to know the capacity, the mental alertness, and the energy of those who seek to govern us. And that's primarily one of the things you get off a debate. I need to know under pressure what somebody will do with security, with education, with all the things they've written on paper. And Nigerians will have the privilege of presenting the videos to them, presenting them premium time with the promises they've made and how so badly they have failed. If we had compelled the APC and President Muhammad Buhari in 2014 or in 2015, in 2018, 2019 to debate the other candidates, we'll have a lot of the videos, we'll have a lot of these promises on paper, on video, and then we'll be able to confront the APC for a myriad of failed promises. We need a regime of presidential debates. We need a regime of gubernatorial debates. And I insist, going forward to 2023, that all the candidates must debate.
Bayo is standing by to ask a question for your quick response. Bayo, over to you now.
Hi, Chris. It's good to.
My big brother. Good morning.
It's good to find you here, and as usual, you're always very cerebral and on point always. I was just wondering, Chris, what your take would be on the role of the National Orientation Agency in this discourse, because they are supposed to help, in sensitizing the citizenry and so on and so forth. Do you see a role for them in organizing presidential debates? Because for now, we only have the media and maybe some private organizations doing that. But the National Orientation Agency is an agency of government with significant autonomy. Will they have a role to play?
Thanks first for your kind words, Bayo. Interestingly, I think that chiefly if we had an effective, efficient, and effectual National Orientation Agency, they would sizably have been responsible for this, because they would have been able to inform Nigerians that those who seek to govern you are your chief servants, and that you have the right to hear them, you have the right to ask them questions, you have the right to put them to the test. And then secondly, I'd love to inform that we have a National Presidential Debate Council or Commission. They organized a few debates in 2011, 2014. But unfortunately, because we do not have perhaps a legal regime, and because we do not have leaders with strong moral suasion, because if they did, they would understand that it is incumbent in the office that they are seeking to talk to the people, to debate their fellow contestants. But unfortunately, they toil with the people. They think that they are the people are their servants and they are the leaders or rulers. But I do sincerely believe that with what we're doing on the ground now, we should be able to compel and ensure that all the candidates who seek to be president, who seek the high office of president, will debate and tell us exactly what they want to do for our country.
Great, thanks. And just something which crossed my mind, because you alluded to it, integrity. I assume that for an organization to organize and announce that there will be a presidential debate, it implies that it had sought and obtained the consent of those presidential candidates to attend. Otherwise, it will not invest money and time and resources to go ahead to organize. Now, what does it say if indeed this happened and we have those who want to govern us giving their word that they will attend probably, and they're not showing up at all and not even caring whatsoever, was the outcome of their not keeping to the word they had given?
No, I think that largely we have an integrity deficit in our country, and that is part of why there is a sweltering harmattan of discontent in our country, and people are asking for a new day and a new deal. I believe that it is wrong for media houses or those who are organizing debates or parleys um, to invite candidates, and then the upon the parley, you find out that some of those who are supposed to debate as equals, as presidential candidates, are not there, and the people are sending in vice presidential candidates. I think it is wrong. Like I said originally, I think also that those who seek to govern us, those who seek the high office of president, must understand that they owe it on their honor, integrity, and moral suasion to debate the people they seek to beat in the election. Because if you think that you're better than I am, and we're running for an office, why not come out against me and prove to the Nigerian people that you're more prepared, that you have competency and the capacity that is better than mine to govern? I think that hiding behind the lack of legal provision is unfair. And I think that, like that cliche which says that Caesar's wife must learn to be above board, must be above board. Those who seek to govern us, those who seek the high office of president must be above board. They should
Okay.
come out and debate. They should stop hiding. They should come out and debate themselves so that
Okay.
Nigerians can choose the best of them going forward.
We're glad to know you're still there, and this is the run-up. It's unfortunate we cannot bring you that guest we promised you. We'll save him for tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's always room for another thing. But we had very burning issues that we discussed before this time that we just like to have a recap, and then some other things that we might also venture into. For instance, Mr. Bayo, you're still there, and we just talked to Professor Chris Nwokobieha about the need for presidential elections, and he made some points, some of which you really liked. Maybe you'd like to comment on that before we continue.
I mean, yes, I think I basically share his sentiments. So almost everything he said, I agree with. Perhaps one of the major points to stress is the fact that there is a wide margin between a presidential debate and a campaign rally. In a campaign rally, you can manage the candidates. You determine the time, the exposure you want to give to the candidate. You determine what the candidate is going to say. And also, let's not forget that in a campaign rally, those participating or those attending, they cannot ask questions. Okay, it's basically what I would call a dissemination. It's not communication. So they can't ask the candidates any question. And then, but in a presidential debate or in a debate for any candidate, there will be questions. The journalists will ask questions. The other candidates will ask themselves questions. Would assess each other's manifesto. Would say why their own manifesto is better. And then, of course, the audience gets some opportunity to also participate. Perhaps one should also add that we shouldn't just focus on a debate for presidential candidates. We should also look at ensuring that the gubernatorial candidates, the governors, the local government chairpersons, all are subjected to the debate. It's particularly worrisome that the local government, which is the closest to us, we hardly know who the candidates are. Many people actually just vote for the party symbol when it comes to the local government election. And that is not good enough. So whoever has taken it upon itself or himself or herself, or whichever organization has been involved in organizing debates, I think can also do us a world of good if they will organize debates for local government chairpersons as well as for governors.
Interesting. But Well, I was just thinking something really weird, a stammerer standing and debating with Eminem, who is the fastest rapper. It's funny, but it goes a long way to say there need to be not just debate, but a lot of other things that we can use to measure. We can use to measure these people who are standing for elections. Things that will help to expose them, how intelligent they are, or otherwise. Apart from just the debate, debate is a very important one. But what else can we use? That is apart from the rallies, because like Bayo said, in rallies you just talk to the people. The people have no opportunity to talk back and ask you valid questions. So I just wonder what other things that we can do to make
which
sure.
the debate does. The debate, creates an opportunity for a proper conversation, if you ask me.
Yeah.
It creates an opportunity to actually weigh these people's IQ. And like you said, a stammerer. Because someone stutters when they speak does not necessarily, it does not equate with the person's intellectual capacity. There are people who they just have that, problem, and they get over it. They rise above it. I think there are other ways. For example, people's track records speak for themselves. The professor asked you a question. He said when you were vying for the position that you occupy right now in Plus TV, you went through an interview. And that is also to ascertain your level of experience, to ascertain the capacity at which your cranial capacity, at the level at which your brain works, is also to ascertain how you are able to perform hands on deck. And I think that is also a way to check them, which has also generated a lot of chaos, especially on social media, when the conversations come up between supporters of different candidates, and these people are firing back at certain people with how that this is our candidate, these are things he has done when he was this, when he was that, and things he is doing at a very personal level. And the debate is your candidate doesn't have this or hasn't been able to perform at this level. That's also a way to check it, because at the end of the day, these debates that happen on social media, no matter how much the older generation want to look at it as social media banters and crews,
that's our generation.
It also
our generation.
I didn't call anybody's name, but then these conversations also, they drive home the points.
Yeah.
These candidates and their campaign organizers and whoever is working for them or based on the elections, it's affecting them. If not, they wouldn't be reacting the way that they do. I don't know if I answer your question.
Well, Bayo, another worrisome thing for me is the, how would I call it to be milder than, well, there's no milder name, the arrogance with which some of these candidates talk to the people and about the people and with the people. Like, I am going to, I don't think they still remember that we, the people, are their employers or their would-be employers. And so they just talk like, okay, you're beneath me. But you're coming to me to employ you, and you're talking the way you're talking. Do you think, let me not even ask like that. What is your response? What is your response to some of the utterances we've heard from candidates who should naturally stand a fighting chance, but are so arrogant about the way they go about what they're doing?
Thanks for that question. Now, two things. We all have how we would like to be seen. Okay, in communications, we call that perceived identity. Desired identity. How I would like to be seen, what I want the public to know about me, I want the public to see me. And on the other side of that, or on the opposing side of that, is what you call perceived identity. How I am actually seen. Right? Now, the truth is probably something in between the desired identity and the perceived identity. And the second point I would like to give is now, because it's related to the first, the managers of information for the presidential or governorship candidates or local government chairmen or chairpersons need to be at par. They need to be on a level where whatever they say to the candidate is taken seriously. I think part of this problem where candidates don't show up and don't care what people think tells a lot about how they, to what level they hold their advisors on information and publicity or media. Because if you have respect for someone you've put in that position, because I am definitely sure that those occupying these positions would not have encouraged their candidates not to show up. You see, a lot goes into a candidate coming to debate. That every candidate has strengths and weaknesses. There's no candidate that is strong across board. And it is the job of the managers of information to prepare their candidates adequately, to have mock debate sessions where they ask difficult questions.
Okay, Bayo, what Chris described as Nigeria network has happened to you.
I think the internet's
Yeah.
breaking.
When we're trying to get Professor Chris, he now said we were not able to because of Nigerian network. So that's what is happening to Bayo right now.
I think something Bayo said that struck me is, you know, these people have a certain way that they wish to be seen.
Yeah.
And that also sends a message to me, because I feel like if you're going to be in a position of leadership, there is an attitude you're expected to have, and pride is not one of them.
It's not one of them.
You're coming to serve, actually. And if we take it to the point where he also said, I'm hoping he can hear me now because I would want him to respond, to the point where he said the managers of the information are not able to probably, you know, give it out properly. I mean, how do we even have a person vying for the position of leadership who does not understand how to approach the people you want to serve? Don't get me wrong. So we keep having people who we have to micromanage. We keep having people who we have to spoon feed, lead us. And we blame it on the managers of information.
I think all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Maybe we gave them the reins of our life, and so they are piloting our affairs the way we don't want them to.
So have a person who understands the position that he is about to get into, who understands how he is supposed to address the people he is about to start working for. I cannot walk into the MD's office and be like, I beg, give me that charger, make I use and charge my phone. He'll be looking at me like...
And that's when you are employed
like
already.
I went all the way upstairs to go and speak to him in that manner. To
That's even
charge.
when you have been employed. But now you're seeking employment.
Exactly.
You're like, guy, how far?
Exactly. So I
it's-
think we need to get to the point where we understand our place as the people. You know, when we understand our place as the people, then we can actually begin to address these issues. Because let us have people who understand what they are coming to do, and then have them fall short as human that they are. Maybe once in a while, a word slips which isn't supposed to come off. For example, you make mistakes, we can understand that. But not when you consistently, as a seeker of political office, talking down on the people that you're supposed to be leading, or you supposedly want to lead.
Well, someone said, I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember the exact words, that when the people fear, when the government fears the people, that's democracy. When the people fear the government, that's dictatorship. So maybe some of them are spoiling to become dictators. Well, there are so many other issues that we could have talked about today. A funny one is, this one we couldn't have talked about it, but what goes around kind of like comes around. There were some unprintable names that the former president of America used on Nigeria as a country. Now his daughter just married a Nigerian bred, wherever he comes from, but he was bred in Nigeria, he was born here, or he was raised here in Nigeria.
Wow.
So Trump, whatever you describe Nigeria, you are in-laws to Nigeria right now. So get that in your head.
Thank you.
Maybe, maybe we'll also look for a way to bring in INEC. officials, if they'll give us that audience, to talk about what is going on the social media, how in one of the vice presidential candidate states, underage children have been registered to vote. Some of them are below 18, a lot of them are below 18, and they brought out some kind of evidence. So let them speak to us on whether this is true, or if it is true, what they are doing to address it. Exactly. And why did it happen in the first place? Well, maybe this is how we're going to draw the curtain.
Yes, this is where we'll draw the curtain on today's edition of The Run-Up. We'll return, but it will be tomorrow. Until then, my name is Uchechukwu Onodo.
Bayo, do you have a quick word to say? Okay, we lost that communication a long time ago. Well, let's do it again tomorrow on behalf of Bayo, who cannot say his final word right now. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Let's do it again tomorrow.